Okay, assalamualaikum and good day everyone. Okay, what we're gonna do today here is we're gonna discuss chapter 3. Okay, now let's take a look at the notes that I got from this reference book. Okay, 3 weeks later, Mrs. Hanson tells the class that someone has vandalized the tavern belonging to Hannah's parents. She asks the class to sign a card she has brought to express their regrets for what has happened to them, but they are not cooperative. Abner refuses to sign the card. He and some other students like Blanche, Peggy Mason, and Harry picked on Hannah over unimportant issues. They say she is snobbish and unhelpful. They also think that the Shermans are not loyal because they still practice their culture despite the war against Germany. Okay, let's take a look at what's inside this bubble. Okay, someone painted terrible things all over the wall, blah blah blah. And then the Shermans are from Germany, but they are loyal American citizens. Yet some people think it's patriotic to harass them. I've bought this card that we can sign to express our regret to them. Mrs. Hanson, I'm not signing the card. The Shermans are German spies. She thinks she's better and has more culture than us. I was at her birthday last year. Her family sang German songs although the war was going on. She doesn't help us with our maths. Okay, let's take a look at what's happening now. I mean, after that incident, it was as if everyone was waiting for the chance to actually say something negative about the Shermers. I think it's more of because they're jealous of Hannah's ability because like it is said here, she's quite good in maths and she's very pretty actually. So they were just like waiting for the chance, and now it's time. They have all the chance in the world to say something bad, something negative about Hannah, so they're taking it. Okay, now let me ask you one question. Why do you think Mrs. Henson brought the card to class? Why do you think? Okay, now I think I'm becoming Dora the Explorer. Yes, you're right. Alright, okay. She brought the card to the class because she wants support. Okay, she wants support from the classmates. She wants Hannah Shermer to know that it is not patriotic for any American to actually write um, nasty things on someone else's wall just because they are originally from Germany. You understand or not? That's the reason why she brought the card. And she also wants to teach the students that that is not patriotic. Even though sometimes we think that, okay, let's just scribble the wall, let's just tell them, maybe, because when we don't like something, we might resort to scribbling the wall or doing things like this. So, what Mrs. Hanson is saying is that that's not the way. One is that's not the way to do it. Number two, patriotism does not mean that. That is not patriotism. By saying that, oh, she's a German spy, the family is not, by accusing others that they're not patriotic, by saying this and that about another American, that is not patriotic. Okay, so Mrs. Hanson is trying to teach them that that is not what you understand about patriotism. So if you think it's like that, it's wrong. Patriotism is not that. All right. So okay, and then Mrs. Hanson is disappointed that nobody signs the card except Richard. Richard feels that his classmates are unfair to Hannah and her family. He is the only one who bravely signs the card, although Abner and Harry warn him against it. All the boys are afraid that Abner and Harry will beat them up. The girls worry that Peggy and Blanche will not speak to them. Mrs. Hanson is disappointed and bitter with the class. She scolds them After class, Richard takes the card from Mrs. Hanson to give it to the Shermers. Yeah, because he's the only one who signed it. He might as well just give it personally, right? The whole school knows that he is the lone signer of the card. Students giggle and pass rude remarks behind his back the rest of the day, but he ignores them. Okay, one of the thing that is quite outstanding about Richard is that he doesn't care. He doesn't care what others think about him. Okay, and he is a person who stands up for what he believes in. Okay, we can see it in previous important incident where he didn't like killing animal and he was willing to be very truthful about it to Pa, even though that was like a family tradition. So the same is here. This is another incident which shows that Richard is a person who has principle, who stands up for what he believes in. He thinks that he should sign the card, so he signs it. Unlike some other people in the class, okay, as you can see, not everyone actually agrees with Peggy, Blanche, Abner, and Harry, but what's wrong with them? I mean, what kind of what kind of trait do they have that makes them different from Richard? Yes, they're scared. They actually support Mrs. Hanson and Hannah Shermer. They want to show their support, but they're scared. So they choose not to. So they just follow what Abner, Harry, Peggy, and Blanche told them to do. The girls were afraid that Peggy and Blanche won't speak to them, and the boys were afraid that they would be beaten up. Okay, but Richard's not afraid. Okay, so you have to remember that not everyone did not sign the card because they did not support Hannah, but some of them did not sign the card because they were scared. But they were also not, how can I say this? Is it truthful? They don't have enough courage. They're not determined enough to actually fight against Abner, Harry, Peggy, and Blanche. So they just follow the crowd. Alright? Okay. Next. Okay, right after school, as when Richard was going home, Richard as Richard walks home, Abner Harry block his way and start fighting with him. Harry holds Richard down as Abner tries to box him, but Richard kicks Harry in the stomach. Richard and Abner get up, but Richard pushes Abner and straddles him. He is about to box Abner, but Abner promises not to bother him anymore. So Richard walks away. Okay, why do you think they were very confident to go against Richard? Why? Do you know why? If you have listened to all my explanation and if you have read the notes that I provided you with in chapter 1 and 2, you will have known by now. Why do they think that why were they very confident when it comes to trying to fight or to beat up Richard? Why? Okay, I'll just give you the answer, okay? Because they thought that Richard's not good at fighting. They thought that um, Richard's not very masculine, that Richard can be easily beaten up, which is wrong. Why do they think like that? Because they really believe that when Richard liked writing poetry, it means that he's sissy. And Richard did not join sports. So instantly, they thought that Richard's not masculine. I mean, like, Richard's not good at, stuff like this, manly stuff. But they are so wrong because Richard is actually quite a strong boy. He's strong because he has been helping his father with farming. When you do farming and it's a lot of energy, you actually exercise your muscle a lot. It's a hard work. So it it can actually be harder than joining sports. Okay? So this is one of the turning point where Abner and Harry realize that okay, we cannot mess with Richard. He's not sissy. So that's why after this incident, you can see that they're not doing anything like physical. They're not trying to fight Richard physically. They can just call names, throw things at him, or try to hurt Hannah. Okay, next. Okay, Richard goes to the Sherman's Tavern. On the way, he writes a message in a card expressing regret and writing that lots of people in Turtle Lake respect them. Hannah is sitting on the front step. Richard gives her the card, but she is angry. He is sad and hurt. He persuades Hannah to take the card. After she takes it, he walks away feeling terrible. He wonders how his message and signature can make things better for the Shermers. He is also not sure if many people in Turtle Lake really respect them and will not do such nasty things that as he wrote in the card. Okay. Okay, why was she sad? Because she thought like Richard is just another person from Turtle Lake. Like she thought wrongly of Richard. She thought, okay, this is another person who's gonna be very nasty towards me because I'm originally from Germany. Okay, but she was wrong, of course. I don't want a card. I wish this has never happened. If you don't want this card, please pass it to your parents. Perhaps they'll find it helpful. Alright. Let's take a look at the last one, I think. Halfway, Richard climbs an old oak tree overlooking the train tracks near his house. From a high branch, he sees the train coming and many people getting on into it. Most of them are smiling and happy. Richard wonders who could have painted those despicable words on the Sherman's Tavern. Suddenly, he feels like going to one of those big cities so that nobody would blah 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 blah. Okay, as he reaches home, Angie gives him a letter from New York. Alright, so this is not very important. So let's take a look at the next one. Okay, just a recap. Okay, this is Richard purposely misshooting the bug. Mm-hmm. Mm, this is the third one. Mrs. Hanson asks her class to sign a sympathy card for Hannah because someone vandalized the Sherman's Tavern and painted dirty hands all over it. Troublemakers like Abner, Harry, Blanche, and Peggy refuse to sign the card. They also want other classmates not to sign the card. Some classmates wanted to sign the card, but they were afraid of Abner and Harry. And the girls were scared that Peggy and Blanche would not be friends with them. In the end, they chose not to sign the card. Richard took the card to Hannah himself. On the way, Richard was stopped by Abner and Harry. They called him Hun Lover and tried to beat him up. They thought Richard was not strong, but they were wrong. Richard fought back and they had to surrender. They promised to leave Richard alone. Richard did not care even though he was the only one signing the card. He believed that it was doing the right thing. Therefore, he should stand up for what he believed in. Okay. I think that's all for chapter 3. Um yeah, you have any question? I don't think so because it's quite clear. But what you need to know is you need to be um this is you know I mean by this chapter you've already learned chapter 1, 2, 3. You should have known a few characteristics of Richard, Abner, Harry, Peggy, and Blanche, and you should know um what kind of incidents that you can use as the example. I mean, when you want to give example, for example, you're saying that okay, Richard is a person with principle. He's a principled person. So you cannot just say that. You have to give reason. We can see this when. So you need to be able to provide evidence, textual evidence. Okay, that's what we call them. We can see this when Richard was very brave to sign the sympathy card on his own, even though everyone else refused to sign it. Some people wanted to sign it, but they were scared of Abner and Harry. The girls were scared that Peggy and Blanche did not want to be their friend. But Richard, on the other hand, bravely signed the card, something like that. So that's why you should know the details of this novel, not just the, you know, not just here and there and just reading one summary for the whole novel. It is okay to read the summary for the chapters because, I don't know, some of you just do not like reading. Okay? Is that okay? Yeah, that's all. Bye bye.